codependency. It's not always in codependency, but speak to me a little bit about enabling. How do we enable people who are in an addictive relationship, be it with, again, addiction is such a broad term, because addiction could be social media, it could be pornography, it could be sex, it could be shopping, it could be food, it could be over-the-counter medication, narcotics, alcohol. The list is really wide and broad. And basically, an addiction is a case of, I don't want to have to deal with this right now. I don't want to feel this right now. And so this is what I'm going to do instead, because it just makes me feel better momentarily. But obviously, we know long term that doesn't help anybody, because what we don't want to feel is not going anywhere. It's going to hang around. And we're just going to keep adding layers to it. And so what happens in these complicated relationships is we tend to enable people. So tell me, how do we enable people? Why do we enable people? What does enabling look like in practice?
So a lot of the times, especially nowadays, people are so wrapped around the fact of trying to just keep a happy face, to smile, and that's it. It's easy to cover something up. I mean, the amount of times where I knew that if I had to climb into what I'm actually feeling and actually deal with that, how much harder that's going to be, and how much that's going to hurt. And you really don't want to hurt. And because you know what that feels like, you see the people that you have in your life, and you don't want them to hurt just as much. It's also easier. It's so much easier just to say, okay, it makes you happy. Just do it. It's fine. Just this once, it's fine. Just, you can do it because it makes you happy. It's easier to just fall into that instead of actually dealing with the problem. Also, a lot of the times when it comes to the people, our loved ones that are going through these addictions and going through their own traumas and their own codependencies, a codependent person then can also get codependent on another person, on each other, because now they're getting that consistent helping hand and reward almost, because this person is so addicted to them, and that is, in their sense, they're getting something out of it. So you also don't want to admit that there may be something underlying there may be something deeper, maybe something more. So it's an easier option, and no one really wants to dive into it and maybe have to admit that maybe they're also a problem in this. It's not easy to have to admit that maybe you also may be contributing to this factor and contributing to the person in your life that you love, who is battling their own problems and battling their own addictions, that you may be a factor in that. And it's easier just to fall into an enabling pattern because of it.
Absolutely. You feel like you're helping. Essentially, when you used to justify it by thinking, or telling yourself, well, I'm helping, I'm easing the situation, I'm making it better. It's a story we tell ourselves, isn't it? We kind of fall into this trap of, it's okay because it's just for this moment, and it's helping. Like as you said earlier, I'm feeling better, even if it is just for the now. Or you're going to feel okay, and so often what we're doing is we're just in avoidance. We don't want to face the elephant in the room. We don't want to sit with the hard and the ugly. And as you said, so often it's the society we live in, it's about faith. It's about putting, up forward appearances, putting your next step forward, making everybody think that I'm okay, I'm in control, I've got this, I'm all right. And we seem to have this issue that, as human beings, we're fascinating. We are quite happy and we feel connected watching somebody who's vulnerable, but we don't like to be vulnerable ourselves. That position of being vulnerable. So it makes you feel naked, exposed. It makes you feel like your wounds are on display for everybody to just come and poke at them, like you're kind of handing them the weapon and saying, here's my wound, go to town. And it makes them really, really difficult and icky and very, very uncomfortable. Yet, it is our vulnerability that allows us to actually start to feel and to say, there's a problem here. This is what I'm struggling with. And when we do that, and when we're sincere, we discover that we're not actually alone, which is what trauma and addiction does. It makes us isolate. It makes us feel, I can do this on my own. I'm alone in this. This is me. This is my battle. I'll do this battle. I'll get through this battle. And we try and white knuckle our way through, we push through, we force through, and we fall, we stumble, we relapse, because we can't do this difficult journey on our own. We need other people. So thank you, absolutely, it's a great point that part of the whole enabling process is just trying to be better. Just trying to make everybody feel.
Definitely. And also just to add to that feeling of that you have to be alone and you have to do it alone. It makes it so much harder to actually even think of it, that it's virtually impossible. There is no way that it's going to work, and you will end up making it so much worse, because you have no one to keep accountable to. You have no one to, it's living on willpower, and there's only so much willpower a person can have before you'll crack. And then it becomes a cycle, because then it's going to be this whole fact of, it's this endless loop, because it's like, for example, with the binging and with the overeating and addiction of eating, then it's like, okay, I have to stop. You mess up, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I messed up. I feel so bad. Now I'm going to have more because I'm upset. And then you're going to get, it's this endless cycle, and it never, ever ends. It's this loop that doesn't stop until you get the help you need from anyone. It's that accountability and someone walking the journey with you, because no one wants to walk a journey alone. It's a very lonely road if you're going to do it alone.
And the chances of you failing are going to be higher than if you actually